Welcome back for another deep dive. This time, we're going to be diving into House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J. Maas.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah, and you send over some pretty interesting excerpts from this novel, and I have to say, I'm really eager to kind of like uncover the mysteries surrounding Midgard and they're struggling against these beings called the Astri.
Yeah, one of the things that immediately jumped out at me when I was looking at these excerpts was just the intricate world building.
Yeah.
Maz doesn't just present us with like a simple conflict.
Right.
She lays out this really complex system of magic and this ancient history and this web of alliances that really draws you in immediately.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And one of the things that you've highlighted that I found really intriguing was this concept of first light.
Right.
This mysterious power source that the Astri seem to crave. And it's described as this like lifeblood of magic, this thing that is harvested from conquered worlds. And so that raises so many questions, like what exactly is first light, and what are the implications of the Astri consuming it?
Well, I think you can think of first light as a kind of cosmic energy.
Okay.
It's like the foundation upon which magic in this universe is built.
Okay.
And the Astri, in their quest for power, are essentially draining worlds
Oh,
of
yeah.
their magical potential.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, it sets the stage for a conflict with incredibly high stakes, not just for Midgard, but for countless other worlds.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes the Astri sound pretty terrifying.
Yeah.
You also mentioned this term Umbra Mortis,
Yeah.
which seems connected to Hunt, one of the main characters.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about that?
Ah, yes, the Umbra Mortis. Well, it's a shadowy power, very, very shrouded in secrecy.
Okay.
It's described as a force that resides within Hunt,
Mm.
allowing him to manipulate darkness and
Yeah.
shadows.
Interesting.
And it's hinted that this power stems from a pact he made in the past, a pact that came at a heavy cost.
Okay, so it sounds dangerous, but also incredibly useful
Right.
in a fight against these beings like the Astray.
Exactly.
Speaking of Hunt, in these excerpts, he's helping Bryce, our protagonist, escape from Midgard.
Yes.
What can you tell us about their escape?
Well, their escape is this desperate attempt to save both themselves and Bryce's brother Rune.
Okay.
And they attempt to flee through this magical gate leading to another world called Hell.
Okay.
However, something goes wrong.
Uh-oh.
And Bryce ends up in an entirely different world, one inhabited by powerful Fae.
Okay, and so that's where she encounters Rysand,
Yeah.
a Fae with his own history battling the Aster.
Yeah. Well,
Right, and it's not just a random coincidence that she ends up in this particular world.
right.
The excerpts you provided hint at a connection between this Fae world, the Asteray, and Bryce herself.
Precisely. The timing of Bryce's arrival coincides with the reappearance of a dagger that vanished from this world 15,000 years ago.
Wow.
Around the same time that these powerful beings called the Starborn Fae arrived in Midgard.
Okay.
So it's heavily implied that Bryce is descended from these Starborn Fae, making both her and the dagger kind of out of place in time, yet somehow fitting into this larger puzzle.
So it sounds like fate,
Right.
or perhaps prophecy is at play here.
It seems so.
And this is further reinforced by the information that Bryce uncovers about the Astery in this new world.
Right.
She explores these treacherous tunnels with Ryzen's companions, Nesta and Azriel,
Yes.
encountering these dangerous creatures and uncovering carvings that hint at this hidden history.
What she discovers is that the Asteries were once known by a different name in this Fae world.
Oh, interesting.
They were defeated here centuries ago by the Fae, suggesting that this isn't just a battle for Midgard.
Right.
It's part of a much larger cyclical conflict.
Wow. So it seems like history is repeating itself, and Bryce is right in the middle of it.
Exactly.
In the excerpts, she also journeys to this hidden chamber and finds a sarcophagus containing a powerful being named Vesperus.
Yes.
What's the significance of this discovery?
Well, Vesperus was imprisoned by Thea, the Starborn Fae Queen, whose power Bryce seems to have inherited.
Okay.
So this revelation ties Bryce directly to the history of this Fae world
Right.
and raises questions about the true nature of the Starborn legacy.
Okay.
Were they benevolent protectors or conquerors?
That's a great question, and
Yeah.
it's further complicated by the memories revealed by Silene,
Yes.
Thea's daughter.
Right.
These memories paint a very different picture of Thea and her daughters,
Right.
suggesting that they were not the benevolent savior's history remembers them as
Right.
they were conquerors who destroyed much of this Fey world.
Exactly. And this revelation forces Bryce to confront this kind of uncomfortable truth about her own heritage. It's a classic hero's journey where the protagonist must face their own inner darkness and the potential for both good and evil within themselves.
Yeah, no, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
And while she's grappling with all of this, her brother Ren and Hunt are enduring their own trials back in Midgard.
Right.
They are imprisoned and subjected to brutal torture by Ridgeless,
Yes.
one of the Astri leaders.
One of the main antagonists.
Right, right. And we also meet Lydia,
Yes.
a character who appears loyal to the Astri,
Right.
but is secretly working for the rebellion.
Exactly.
Lydia's presence introduces a really fascinating layer of complexity to the conflict.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She's operating in this morally gray area, forced to make these difficult choices
Right.
to survive and protect those she cares about.
Right.
It begs the question, what compromises are acceptable in a fight against tyranny?
Yeah. It's a question that many of the characters are grappling with, and
Yeah.
there are no easy answers.
Not at all.
In the excerpts you provided, Bryce continues her exploration of this new Fey world,
Right.
venturing into the Cave of Princes, this sacred site forbidden to females.
Yes, a place of great power and mystery.
Right, and this is where we see the limitations placed on Bryce by Fey traditions,
Yeah.
and her frustration with those limitations.
Of course, she doesn't like to be told what she can and cannot do.
Right, exactly, and despite the restrictions, she believes that the cave holds answers specifically about the portal that brought her to this world.
Right.
She's driven to understand how she got here and how she can potentially use that knowledge to defeat the Astri.
It's a very important question for her to answer.
Right, exactly. And within the cave, she discovers this pool of starlight,
Yes.
described as a source of immense power connected to the Astri.
Right.
This raises the question, could this starlight be similar to First Light,
Ooh, that's a good question.
the energy source that fuels the Astri? And if so, could it be the key to defeating them?
That's definitely a possibility worth exploring.
Yeah, and we also learn that the Cave of Princes was created by Helena,
Yes.
one of those star-born daughters,
Just three.
to communicate with the princes of Hell.
Yes, a very interesting detail.
Right, and this connection between the caves, the Astri, and even Hell
Yeah,
adds another layer of intrigue to the story.
it certainly does.
And it highlights the fact that Bryce's journey isn't just about defeating a physical enemy.
Right.
It's about uncovering these hidden truths and confronting this complex legacy
Absolutely.
and ultimately deciding what kind of hero she wants to be.
Yes, that's a theme that really resonates throughout these excerpts.
Yeah, no, it's fascinating. And what stands out to you so far about this world and its characters?
Well, I'm really fascinated by this concept of first light
Yeah.
and its implications for both Midgard and this Fey world. What are the long-term consequences of the Astri consuming this cosmic energy? And what role does Bryce, with her starborn heritage, play in this larger conflict?
Those are excellent questions,
Yeah.
and ones that we'll definitely be exploring further as we continue our deep dive.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see what other secrets this world holds.
Me too.
Yeah. What's really striking about Bryce's journey,
Mm-hmm.
is that it challenges these traditional notions of heroism.
Yeah.
She's not just battling these external enemies. She's confronting these difficult choices
Right.
and grappling with the legacy of her ancestors.
Yeah, no, that internal conflict is definitely one of the most compelling aspects of the excerpts you provided.
Yeah.
It makes you question the nature of good and evil,
Right.
whether power inevitably corrupts.
Right.
And Bryce's story seems to suggest that it's not so simple.
Exactly. And this complexity is further emphasized in the next part of her journey.
Okay.
Bryce and Hunt travel to Avalon,
Okay.
this mysterious island ruled by the Fey King Morven. And they believe that the island holds the key to understanding the portal that brought Bryce to this world potentially offering a way to defeat the Asteran.
Okay, but Morven isn't exactly welcoming, is he?
No, not really.
The excerpts you provided highlighted the tension between them.
Yeah.
Particularly because of Bryce's disregard for Fae traditions and her relationship with Hunt and Angel.
Well, Morven represents the old guard,
Okay.
clinging to tradition and wary of outsiders.
Right.
He sees Bryce and Hunt as a threat to the established order.
Yeah.
And their arrival on Avalon is marked by suspicion and distrust.
Yeah, and their interactions are fascinating because they highlight this clash between different cultures and ideologies.
Absolutely.
Morven values tradition and control,
Right.
while Bryce is driven by this desire for knowledge
Yes.
and a willingness to challenge authority.
And this clash is further amplified by the presence of the murder twins,
Okay.
Morven's cousins. They're fiercely loyal to their king and tradition.
Right?
And they make it clear that they will protect their world from outsiders,
Yeah.
even if it means resorting to violence.
So it creates this sense of danger and uncertainty for Bryce and Hunt.
Yeah.
They are navigating a world where they are not fully understood.
Right.
And where their actions are constantly scrutinized.
Yeah, they're definitely walking on eggshells.
Right. But amidst this tension, Bryce is determined to find the information she needs.
She's very driven.
Right. She believes the key lies in two places. The Avalon Archives
Okay.
and the Cave of Princes.
Yes.
This sacred site forbidden to females.
Right, right.
Accessing either location proves challenging.
Of course.
As she faces these constant reminders of the limitations placed on her by Fae traditions.
Exactly.
It's frustrating to see her constantly hitting these roadblocks.
Yeah.
But it also showcases her tenacity.
Yeah.
She's not easily deterred, and she's willing to use her intelligence and cunning to get what she needs.
Absolutely. She's very resourceful.
Right. And so while she negotiates with Morven for access to the archives,
Okay.
she's also secretly planning to infiltrate the Cave of Princes.
Oh, daring.
Right, believing it holds this crucial information about the portal.
Right.
And potentially a weapon that can be used against the Astery.
Okay, interesting.
The Cave of Princes is fascinating because it represents both this repository of Fae history
Right.
and a source of trauma for Run.
Right.
He was forced to participate in this brutal ritual there as part of his Fae upbringing.
Right.
A ritual that involved fighting for survival against other young Fae.
It's a very harsh coming-of-age tradition.
Right, exactly. And his experiences in the cave offer this stark contrast to Bryce's perspective.
Right.
While she sees the cave as this potential source of answers, Run associates it with pain and fear.
Yeah, of course.
And the darker aspects of Fae culture.
That makes sense.
Right, and it adds another layer of complexity.
Yes.
To their relationship as they navigate this dangerous environment together.
For sure.
And while they are exploring the cave,
Yeah.
Hunt is facing his own internal struggles.
Oh.
He's still dealing with the trauma of his captivity and the lingering effects of the Umbra Mortis.
Yeah.
This shadowy power that he wields.
It can't be easy.
Right. And Hunt's journey is a reminder that even the strongest warriors carry scars.
Yeah.
Both physical and emotional.
Yeah, that's true.
He grapples with feelings of inadequacy and a fear that he's not strong enough to protect those he loves.
A very human fear.
Right, and it's heartwarming to see Bryce's unwavering support for him.
Yeah, their bond is definitely one of the highlights of these excerpts.
Right, their relationship is a source of strength.
Absolutely.
For both of them.
Yeah.
This reminder that they're not alone in this fight.
Exactly, they have each other.
Right, and their love for each other is a constant throughout these excerpts, offering this glimmer of hope.
Yeah.
Amidst the darkness and uncertainty.
A very powerful message.
Right, and speaking of hope, we can't forget about Lydia, who is still operating undercover for the rebellion.
Yeah.
Run now knows her secret identity as the Hind.
Okay.
And this knowledge adds a whole new dimension
to
their relationship.
Yeah.
Their dynamic is fascinating.
Okay.
It's built on this foundation of secrets and mistrust.
Right.
Yet there's a clear attraction between them.
Okay, interesting.
Right. Lydia is a complex character, forced to make these these difficult choices
Yeah.
and live a double life.
Yeah, a very dangerous game she's playing.
Right, and Run is drawn to both sides of her.
Yeah.
Strong, capable, and the vulnerable woman beneath the mask.
A very compelling dynamic.
Right. It's a relationship fraught with tension
Yeah.
and potential heartbreak,
Right.
but it's also incredibly compelling to watch unfold.
Absolutely. It's a slow burn.
Right, exactly. And it speaks to the complexities of trust and loyalty,
Yeah.
especially in a world where appearances can be deceiving.
You can never be too sure who to trust.
Right. And as all of these characters are navigating their own challenges,
Right.
Bryce makes this startling discovery within the Cave of Princes.
Uh-oh, what is it?
She finds a pool of starlight,
Yeah.
similar to the first light that fuels the Astri.
Right, right.
And this discovery raises the possibility that
Yeah.
the starlight could be used to defeat the Astri.
Okay.
Or at least disrupt their power source.
Interesting.
But it also reinforces the cyclical nature of history
Yeah.
and the potential for power
Right.
to be both a source of good and evil.
It's a very important point.
Right, you're referring to Thea and her daughters,
Yeah, yes.
right? The Starborn Fae,
Right.
who were initially seen as saviors,
Yes.
but turned out to be conquerors.
Right.
Their story serves as a warning that even the best intentions
Right.
can lead to destructive outcomes.
Absolutely. Power can corrupt even the most well-intentioned.
And it makes you question what Bryce will do
Right.
with the power she's inherited.
Yeah.
Will she follow in Thea's footsteps?
Right.
Or forge a different path?
A very important question.
Right, and that's a question that hangs over the entire narrative.
It really does.
And as we move into the final excerpts you provided,
Yeah.
we'll see how Bryce confronts this challenge and what choices she makes
Yeah.
in the face of unimaginable odds.
I'm really curious to see how it all plays out.
Me too. Okay, so we left off with Bryce discovering this pool of starlight inside the Cave of Princes, this power source that may or may not be connected to the Astri.
Right.
But then she encounters this other group of powerful beings, these princes of hell.
Right.
What role do they play in all of this?
Well, the princes of hell are very mysterious, even more so than the Fae. You know, they seem to operate on a different level with this ancient knowledge and motives that are really hard to understand.
Yeah, and they're interested in Bryce and Hunt.
Very interested.
Right, and it seems like they're offering to help.
Yes, but at a price.
Right. And they seem very focused on the Star Sword and Truth Teller.
Yes, those powerful blades carried by Bryce and Hunt.
Right.
They believe that the union of those blades holds the key to defeating the Astri.
So they think that uniting these blades could create a force powerful enough to banish the Astri.
They seem to think so.
But they also warn of a potential cost.
Right. You know, a sacrifice that might be required to achieve this.
Oh, so it raises these questions about the nature of power
Absolutely.
and whether any victory comes without a price.
It's a recurring theme throughout these excerpts.
Right. And while Bryce is dealing with these princes of hell, King Morven discovers her plan to infiltrate the Cave of Princes.
Oh.
And we see this really tense confrontation between them.
Yeah, their ideologies clash in a major way.
Right. And it really highlights Morven's suspicion of Bryce and Hunt.
Right. You know, Morven represents this rigid adherence to tradition, you know, a fear of change and a distrust of anything that might disrupt the established order.
Right.
Bryce, on the other hand, embodies a willingness to question authority,
Right.
to push boundaries and to forge her own path.
Right. And so their conflict is almost like a microcosm of this larger struggle
Yes.
between tradition and progress, between fear and hope.
Exactly. It's a battle of ideologies.
Right. And so this confrontation leads to this dramatic showdown
Oh, wow.
in Morven's throne room, where Bryce exposes his corruption
Oh.
and severs their alliance.
Wow, that's a big move.
Right. And it's a real pivotal moment in her journey.
Definitely.
You know, signifying her willingness to stand up for what she believes in,
Right.
even if it means defying a powerful ruler.
She's not afraid to stand up for what's right.
Right. And amidst all this turmoil, the Princes of Hell reveal a startling truth about Hunt's lineage,
Oh, what's that?
claiming that he's not just an angel, but a descendant of their realm.
Wow.
You know, a product of their own machinations against the Astri.
So he's been a pawn in this cosmic game for much longer than he realized.
Right, right. And it really makes you question their motives.
For sure.
Are they really allies, or are they manipulating Bryce and Hunt for their own ends?
Yeah, it's hard to say what their true intentions are.
Right. And so Bryce has to make a choice.
Right, a very difficult choice.
Use the blades like the princess suggested, risking this devastating sacrifice,
Right.
or find another way to defeat the Astri.
A seemingly impossible choice.
And so she chooses a third option.
Oh, really? What's that?
Infiltrate the Eternal City,
Oh.
the heart of the Astri Empire,
Okay,
and destroy their power source.
that's incredibly risky.
Right, the First Light Core.
That's the source of their power. Destroying it could have unpredictable consequences.
Right, potentially impacting not just the Astri, but countless other worlds connected to this energy source.
Yeah, that's a huge gamble.
But Bryce she's a strategist.
Right.
And she's not acting impulsively.
Okay.
She uses the mask, this artifact that allows her to control others,
Right.
to infiltrate the city with Hunt and a small group of allies.
Oh, boof.
Right. And meanwhile, Run and Lydia are back in Midgard,
Okay.
facing their own challenges
Okay.
and forging a deeper connection amidst the chaos.
That's nice to hear amidst all this darkness.
Right. And the excerpts you provided describe this thrilling confrontation
Yeah.
inside the Eternal City.
Right.
Bryce, Hunt, and their allies face off against Regulus and Eospheros.
Oh.
These two really powerful Asteries determined to protect their power source.
A battle for the ages.
Right. And it's not just a physical battle.
Right.
It's a test of Bryce's will and her ability to control this immense power she's inherited.
It's a true test of her character.
Right. And the stakes are incredibly high.
Oh, yeah. If she fails, not only will Midgard be doomed,
Right.
but the Astra will be free to continue their conquest, draining world after world of their magic and life force.
And so in this really climactic moment,
Yeah.
Bryce realizes that she can't just rely on her Starborn abilities.
Well,
She needs to combine her power with Hunt's lightning and their love for each other.
Wow.
Acts as this conduit to help her reach her full potential.
It's a beautiful image,
Right.
highlighting this idea that love can be a source of strength,
Yeah.
even in the face of this unimaginable darkness.
Right. And it suggests that true power comes from connection,
Yes.
from collaboration,
Right.
and from embracing both the light and the darkness within ourselves.
Absolutely. It's about finding balance.
Right. And during the battle, Bryce makes this crucial discovery about the mask,
Oh, okay. What's that?
realizing that it's not just a tool of control,
Okay.
but a key to unlocking this hidden power
Interesting.
within herself.
Wow. So the mask is more than just a weapon.
Right. And she also realizes that destroying the First Light Core outright
Yeah.
would have these devastating consequences for Midgard.
Right. It would cut off the flow of magic that sustains their world.
And so she chooses another path.
Oh, okay. Tell me more.
She unites the Star Sword and Truth Teller.
Oh, wow. The blades that the princes of hell were so interested in.
Right.
Right.
And uses them along with her combined power with Hunt to open this portal to a void,
To void.
to a place outside of time and space.
Wow. So she's essentially banishing the Astri
Right.
to this void.
To this void.
Wow. That's a clever solution.
Right. She neutralizes the threat without destroying the First Light Core.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She finds a way to protect both Midgard and the other worlds connected to the First Light.
Right. And it's a brilliant strategy. It demonstrates both her intelligence and her compassion.
Absolutely. She's not just powerful, she's wise.
Right. She finds a way to save Midgard without resorting to destruction.
Even though the Astri showed no such mercy.
Right. Right. And in a final act of defiance, Bryce uses the mask to broadcast this message to the people of Midgard,
Oh, wow. What does she say?
exposing the Astri's lies and igniting a rebellion.
That's amazing. She's giving them hope.
Right. Right. She's empowering them to fight for their freedom, to reclaim their world, and to build a better future.
That's a powerful message to end on.
Right. And it's a powerful ending to this epic journey.
Yeah, Bryce and Hunt returned to the human world forever changed by their experiences.
Right.
They've faced unimaginable horrors, but they've also discovered their true potential
Right.
and the importance of fighting for what they believe in.
And their story is this reminder that even in the darkest of times, there's always hope.
Yeah, it's a testament to the power of love and courage and the unwavering belief in a better tomorrow.
Right. And what stands out to you the most about Bryce's journey?
Well, I think I'm most struck by her resilience.
Hmm.
You know, despite facing betrayal and loss and these seemingly insurmountable odds, she never gives up.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
she constantly challenges herself and those around her,
right.
pushing boundaries and refusing to accept limitations.
Right.
Her story is an inspiration to anyone who feels like they're fighting an impossible battle. It reminds us that we all have the power to make a difference, to stand up for what's right, and to create a world where everyone can thrive.
Beautifully said, and I think that's the essence of House of Flame and Shadow. It's a
Yeah.
story about finding strength in unexpected places, about challenging the status quo, and about the enduring power of hope.
Yes, hope even in the face of darkness.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into House of Flame and Shadow.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you've enjoyed exploring this really intricate world and its compelling characters.
Yes, and we hope you'll join us again for our next deep dive.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.